let's talk about policy issues that happen throughout the entirety of the country that get completely ignored, that apparently politicians can't actually think of good faith policy. Here are ideas that I've had throughout the years. Throughout the years! Okay? Number one. Alright? Mandatory paternity testing before any type of attempt of any type of child support, right? Not to mention, that right there, that was a good one. The repeal of permanent alimony, I'm in full support of that one. The length of alimony should stretch to the length of the marriage. But going on, all right. Full restitution for victims of civil asset forfeiture. All right. Not to mention that, but full punitive measures being taken as far as repealing of license and capability, once the public trust has been diminished with somebody to be able to work in a specific field. Like, for example, the people that have actively committed insurance fraud and defrauded their customers, like I was defrauded. Alright? Not to mention that. More seriousness being taken when people are in dereliction of the fiduciary duties. Alright? Not to mention that. Presumption of innocence actually taking place throughout all forms of litigation. Alright? Criminal charges being pressed for false allegations leading to the financial destruction of somebody. Alright? Those false allegations, if they've caused a complete and total financial downfall, you gotta make that up to them. Alright? If you commit human rights violations, you are fully in charge and fully liable for the restitutions owed. Alright? We're talking you specifically. Alright? Wrongful conviction, prosecutorial misconduct, judicial misconduct, coercion into, false confession. Yeah, those leading to the ending of people's careers. Alright? More things. Alright? A relaxation on the attempt of weaponization of trespassing laws, an attempt to, quote-unquote, stand your ground. Using that as, a loophole to try to just basically get justifiable homicide for breaking and entering. Alright? The relaxation of that would end up going ahead and leading to the factor of, hey, people will stop trying to orchestrate circumstances to give the illusion of impropriety, to try to get away with murder. That might be good faith policy. Here's another good faith policy. Department of Health and Human Services actually going ahead and having, just like debit cards, chips being put into, driver's licenses for people that in some way are, a guardian, babysitter, whatever the case is, whatever relationship they have to a child. That chip put in the driver's license, so that way if they end up getting stopped, that chip could go ahead and be able to right away be able to give law enforcement heads up, hey, this child is supposed to be with that person, or that child is not supposed to be with that person. So that way it would be easier to go ahead and get people on kidnapping, and also be able to tell who the kidnapper is, and, who's just trying to feign outrage, try to be like, child endangerment, to try to leverage, custody battles in their favor. Alright? Ultimately, if you make that a voluntary program, basically go ahead and have corporations that have been price gouging customers for years going ahead and giving actual discounts. So that way that the people that are the recipients of those discounts that are in full, compliance with that program, ultimately, it's recognized, hey, this right here will go ahead and actually bolster support with those corporations. Those corporations get to look good. If you also go ahead and put those anti-theft tags and, like the actual rubber part of kids' sneakers, that way that if the tags get synced up, all right, by having to give the ID when you go to purchase the sneakers, and that means that automatically anybody linked up to that specific case, those anti-theft monitors will not go off, but ultimately those detectors in the kids' sneakers would go ahead and set off those alarms, making it easier for those corporations to avoid lawsuits for potential Amber Alert circumstances or Code Adams from happening. Alright, doing that would actually end up going ahead and reducing the strain on law enforcement. That would end up going ahead and reducing the strain on the courts. That would end up going ahead and making lawyers' jobs a lot easier, while at the same time making it a lot safer place, not only for the kids, but a lot less stressful of a place for the parents. Alright, that right there, that's good policy. That is good policy. That for people that keep thinking, I'm parents, I need politicians that actually think of policy that'll end up going ahead and doing good for my kids. There you go. Alright? Not to mention that, but actually go ahead and offer alternatives rather than mass incarceration and, forever wars and war on drugs, war on crime. First off, safety mechanisms. Alright? Rather than automatically going ahead and having mock trials, having, law enforcement having to go ahead and step in every single beck and call, and a misuse of police resources. Actually being able to go ahead and set up community events so that way you get the opportunity to be able to meet your neighbors. Not to mention that, reduce the mass deportation. Alright? That's not going to do good for anybody. Understand that people that are here that are basically waiting for years and years and years just to go ahead and see a citizenship judge, to go ahead and get, actual citizenship while paying their taxes, while actually going ahead and contributing to the community, doing jobs that most people don't want to do, and that loss of revenue for every single actual neighborhood and area, it gets noticed. So cut that bullshit. Alright? That right there, that is good policy. That is policy that instead of going with a trickle-down economics type financial, mentality, would actually go ahead and present the reduction of the financial hardship directly not only to consumers, but to parents alike, as well as the constituents, while at the same time those corporations, while only thinking about a profit margin, because we all know how those CEOs get those golden parachutes, would end up going ahead, reducing the golden parachutes that end up going to those CEOs, would end up going ahead and provide better opportunities, for housing, actually beautifying neighborhoods, while at the same time being able to give a little more trust in the people in the community in general, as well as the people within our government. That's good policy. That's something that somebody could literally run an entire campaign on and win for President of the United States. There you go. Actually listen to the people that are thinking of policies that are actually trying to do good. Because the people that just go ahead and take part in identity politics, they don't give a shit about you. Alright? Those policies right there that I just mentioned, those would end up directly impacting the financial wellness of your household.